Welcome, sentient beings from all known universes and beyond. It's time to activate your cranial downlinks and prepare to receive a raft of discussion on a cosmic ocean of science fiction and fantasy topics, interviews with local area genre devotees, and insightful prognostication by our soothsayers of science fiction, our forecasters of fantasy, and any other beings that happen to get caught in our gravity well. This is the Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. I'm Bill. Charles?
Oh, yeah, I'm Charles.
Seth?
What about Linda? God, I think we're all waiting for Linda.
Linda.
That's the problem. Jeez.
Okay, well,
Son of a
I'm in
bitch.
the background today. So.
Sorry.
No, you're.
I see you clear day.
Yeah, you're
All
in.
right, Linda. Go for it, Linda.
Oh, well. I'm Linda. Sorry.
I'm Seth and his amazing menagerie.
Kitty.
I'm Jenna.
And I'm Chris.
All right. Welcome, and today we're going to be talking about Seth. Seth.
Seth's Menagerie.
Isn't this the second?
Today we're
time
talking
you've done
only
this?
about Seth. The whole show.
It's so hard to find good help these days.
Isn't that the second time you've done this?
I don't think so. Is it?
Probably.
I am sure it is.
No.
I don't know.
Oh, well.
I don't remember. But anyway, we're going to be talking about the movie Prey.
I mean, I'm okay if you guys just want to talk about me for a half an hour.
Well, we'll maybe do an After Dark episode because that might be a lot of X-rated.
I think Seth is just looking for free therapy.
Guys, it's been a rough month.
All right. Well, we're going to have Chris kick this one off and kind of give us a high-level overview of Prey, and then we'll kind of get into our thoughts and discussion. So,
So Prey, as in Prey, not a religious movie or anything like that. And yes, another Predator film. We have a lot of them now. This one's a prequel. And Prey is basically about a skilled Comanche warrior that is protecting her tribe from a highly evolved alien predator. We know who it is or what it is, that's hunting humans for sport and fighting against the wilderness and dangerous French colonizers, I believe. That's effectively the Comanche tribe versus predator and French colonial. I can't say the word today.
Yeah.
It's all right. If it makes you feel better, Chris, I think it's, even though they used French, it's just supposed to be an amalgamation of European settlers. And the reason they went with the French and didn't bother to subtitle them, so you understood, the director said he wanted to capture her confusion. Like, he wanted the audience to be confused with
her. That's what I
her.
was telling Gina last night. So we were watching it, and I said I actually appreciate the fact they didn't have the subtitles, because then we get their experience, the Comanche experience,
right?
Not knowing, they have to read the body language to try and understand what's going on. So I did actually appreciate that a lot. I will note also, and Jenna, you pointed this out, that there is a Comanche dub of this film as well. So I thought that was pretty cool.
It's a dub?
It's in English, like
English.
but
Okay.
you can watch a Comanche dub. So like it's in Comanche language and you're reading the English.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know how they did that, because when you said that there was the Comanche language version, I was kind of imagining that it would be the English version that was the dub.
Yeah, no, it was it's the Comanche version that's the dub. So it was still great either way. It wasn't a long movie, but it was action packed. It was good, and I liked it a lot. We get to see more up close, Predator combat, which I enjoyed. They really showed off his strengths and everything like that, which was pretty cool. So yeah, that was whatever we want to talk about in the film, let's have at it. But it was pretty good.
Well, I'd say the thing I liked about it was that we had a female protagonist there taking on the predator, which was good. There were a lot of Comanche males that were warriors, that she also wanted to be a warrior, and her, talking to her mother kind of wanted her to go more towards the traditional female roles and not be a warrior, but that's where her heart lie, and that's what she decided to pursue, and she was very good at it, and which was lucky for the Comanche tribe because she ended up being the one to actually take out the predator. But yeah, I like that part of it. And I like the whole show. I thought it was really well done and probably one of the best of the Predator series in my mind, I think.
I think I agree with that, honestly.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. What'd you think, Jenna?
So I have to admit that I initially had no intention of watching this movie. I did not want to see another trite representation of Native Americans just to spice up the Predator franchise.
Fair.
And then I started seeing the buzz in, Native American Country Today, some posts from other Native media resources just about how it was a Comanche producer on this, that it was filmed on reservation land up in Canada, and that there was definitely honoring and kickbacks to the tribe. There was, language boot camp. There was a lot of stuff that was done to honor the little details of the tribe. It's like they just didn't take a bunch of people and slap feathers on them and say, "Hey, it's Indians. It'll be awesome." No, they really said, okay, if we're going to use Indians, we're going to hire a Native American cast. We're going to make sure we get the details from culture to costumes done. And we're going to do this right and be respectful. Like they had an internship for young Native American filmmakers to come in and help work on it. So they did a lot of stuff to return to the community, honor the culture, and then have the casts to say, yes, these were Native Americans who were doing it. And with all that in mind going into the movie, because I love action movies, I love the original Predator, I think they did a great job. It was super entertaining. And it was something that didn't feel just halfway done. They really went, they said, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this the full level. And they did. So thought that was cool.
Nice. Seth, what'd you think? And what would you say was your favorite scene?
Oh God. Well, it's hot. The spoiler warnings. We forgot to give spoiler warnings on the last one, but
do people not know us by now?
Yeah, I know, but it's polite. If you haven't seen the movie, maybe don't. So I was really kind of nerding out a little bit when the main character was developing her axe with a rope on it.
Yeah,
yeah,
I love that part.
Full action movie hero powers.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like Thor calling back his hammer, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes,
that was rad.
That was really rad. I could see Jenna doing that.
Jenna wouldn't need the rope. The axe would just know that it needed to come back, or else bad things might happen to it.
Yeah, right. All right. Charles, what'd you think? What was your favorite part of it?
It's fun. It's fun. I don't know what my favorite. I know all the kids now are going to want a dog again.
Right.
That was a good dog. That was a good dog.
And they didn't kill the dog.
I know.
I was
so worried.
Oh my God.
It never happened.
Lynn and I were like, if something happens to the dog, we're done.
That's what I said. He was going to be done if they killed that dog.
Right.
He didn't.
That's the way to ratchet up tension in a horror movie or a thriller movie for me is if there's a dog or a pet in danger, and they'll always kill the pet, and I'm just like, oh, goodness.
Right. Yeah. What do you think, Linda? What was your favorite part?
I just like her coming of age and getting stronger. And the best part, I think, was at the end when she watched her brother get the staff because he killed the bear. And she got to get the staff because, of course, she killed the alien. Spoiler alert. But that was the best part. It was like she achieved her goal, and it's just a good feather in the cap for strong women characters. I like that.
Yeah. And the thing I found interesting was that the coming of age thing, you think of the coming of age, and you've got these Native Americans out there, or maybe any primitive society, right? And you've got this coming of age thing for the warriors, where they have to prove themselves. And typically that's by going out and killing some sort of a prey. Right. But in this case, what struck me was that she had to prove herself by killing something that was hunting her. Or that's what the warriors in the tribe had to do, kill something that was hunting them, whether it be a bear or in this case, a predator, or maybe a mountain lion, which we see in the film. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting thing. And I hadn't considered that before, but yeah, that makes sense that you're going against this animal that is sort of an apex predator like the tribe was, right? And so I like that aspect of it. And I liked her resilience and her ability to improve herself, because she had this axe that she used to attack her prey, but she realized that, throwing the axe, if you miss, you've got to go chase down your axe, right? Before you can go back after the animal again. Mm-hmm. And so that's where, Seth referenced the fact that she, ties this rope onto the axe, and then we see her practicing throwing that axe and hitting trees and then yanking and pulling it back into her hand, right?
It actually saves her life.
Yeah. So in this scene, Linda, you want to tell us about this scene?
So she has that axe on a big long rope so that she can, again, retrieve it without having to go walk and get it. And she gets stuck here in some quagmire. I'm not sure, quicksand.
Loblolly, my dad would call it.
Bog. Yeah, loblolly. A bog. But she keeps getting lower and lower in it. And so she starts to throw the axe at a bunch of dead tree roots and is able to get the axe jammed into one. So she pulls herself out of this with it. So
barely. She almost doesn't make it.
Yeah, good survival skill.
They honestly faked me out with this scene. I looked, this is like, oh, this is a throwback to Arnold crawling through the mud, and then like the predator's not going to see her. Like this is going to be.
I thought the predator was going to come up behind her, and then he's going to realize that it can't see her.
Yeah,
that's what Bill was saying.
I thought because she was covered in the mud, and I was like, so this is how they're going to work it in.
Right.
And it was fake.
Nope, they didn't. I felt like that was a missed opportunity, but like that's exactly what I was thinking about watching it.
Yeah. But, I think the way they did it, because that's what we all expected, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think the way they did it was unique. So, Chris, you want to fill us in on how that happened?
Yeah. So she's not just a combatant, right? She's actually been working with her mother and learning a lot about the herbal medicines and things like that. So sure. She's actually kind of a medicine woman too. So she finds these there are these orange leaves that they know of that it cools the body, helps you from bleeding out from profuse, wounds or whatever. And so she comes to find out later that when she eats some of those, that she can kind of hide herself from the predator, which was actually kind of cool. So yeah. I don't know the validity behind any kind of actual plants that do that, but that was how
the blood. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Especially something that reacts that fast that you can still function with. I don't quite understand that. Like, how do you not pass out or something like that with something that does that to your body? But anyways, that's how they decided to do that. So I do want to back up one thing on my favorite scene, which was actually the predator versus the bear.
Yes. Yes.
That fight scene was pretty cool. And let's be real, the bear gave it his all and kind of jacked that predator up a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a scene where the bear kind of stands up and it's got like the predator's blood, because it glows bright green, just dripping down its face. I'm like, oh, he got him good.
Right.
There's a lot of predator versus wildlife in this movie, which I enjoyed. And it wasn't like the predator took some hits in this film. You see his blood kind of all over the place. So, but he is still kind of the ultimate warrior at the same time too. So,
but here's where I got the impression of that, where if this is supposedly the first hunt on Earth, you can see him. He's just going through and he's just like evaluating the wildlife. So like when you see him evaluate the wolf, he's measuring what is the capability of this prey. Like you don't see the text, but you see like
the food chain.
Yeah, he's measuring it. So like the rabbit is getting chased by this wolf, so he wants to get in the way of this wolf and see what he gets. And it's not much of a fight, but it's entertaining enough to him that he saves the skull.
It tags it a little bit.
Yeah, it does a little bit. So, and then it's the same with, I don't think he considered the human as much of a threat, because he does see her and he continues to pursue her afterward, just I think out of curiosity. But it's the bear that was the more interesting fight at that point.
Yeah.
Right. The bigger challenge.
Yeah. And then it goes up because he knows there's something out there that's got the capability to create gun shells. Like he recognizes it's a primitive technology compared to his. So I think he's following her out of curiosity because he's trying to find what left the shelves that could do what he does, which is skin those buffalo and kill them.
Right.
So it's interesting to see him learning with us. And I think that's why a lot of people have been given this movie grief, not having even seen it. Why, a woman, Native American woman, what threat is she to a predator? And that again was also contributing. It's like, don't just make a hero and it make no sense. And it's just, I don't know, movie masturbation. But because she's a woman and she started off with learning probably the female traditions and arts first, and says, no, I want to also hunt. She has to be clever. She can't rely purely on her strength. Right. And you see those little hints of her being more clever. And even her brother at the end acknowledging, I got the mountain lion that they initially went out to pursue, where she sees the tracks, because I used your plan. You always see the plan. And that's why she is so formidable.
Right. Yeah, I like that her brother was very supportive and not
an ass.
Yeah.
To an extent, he ultimately
to an extent, but
yeah,
he wasn't. He didn't like belittle her like most of the other members of the tribe who we see out on the hunt.
Yeah, but
it seemed like he was going to at the start.
Yeah,
him a little bit, because when he came back after they went to hunt the lion, he gave her zero credit until later on when he admits that the only reason he was able to defeat that lion.
That is fair.
She actually did.
I have to admit, at the beginning of the movie, there's a little bit of from her point of view, she's always right, everybody else is always wrong, and they still won't listen to her.
Yeah.
And I've seen that a lot in movies.
She's a woman.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of a female perspective there.
Right.
I suppose.
That's pretty common.
Says you. No, I've seen, but I don't know.
But I'm not bitter.
I will agree with you, Seth, though, that the brother, if anything, does redeem himself.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And he was, in his own right, a fantastic warrior. We see him go one-on-one with the predator and hold his own. And while he wasn't, victorious in the end, spoiler alert, and ends up falling to it, he gave that thing a run for his money compared to the rest of the French army that went after, you know what I mean?
Yeah. If I had any like complaints, it's that the Predator is just shrugs off the horrible wound that he gets from the brother.
Yeah.
Oh, the spear.
Yeah, where he just like comes in from 10 feet above and whams with the back.
Yeah.
Like, you should see him limping just a little. I know he's got alien medicine, but come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bit of that. Like it didn't seem like literally until it got its head blown off. He never really weakens, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was almost
space meth.
Yeah.
Space math. Yeah.
It was unfair, right? It was unfair to a level where, you know, they are doing what we can clearly see as damage, right?
Yeah.
What did the brother say? If it can bleed, you can kill it.
Die. Yeah. Which I loved again, that kickback to the original Predator.
Yes.
Arnold's line.
Thank you. Yes, exactly.
When he gets his arm cut off, I was almost expecting you to see him just still like holding something, even though there was no arm there.
Yeah. So that part I thought was a little bit unfair, but you know, again, it is an alien species. But they still overcame it, which was good. But there was definitely some wounds that it sustained. That you know, we see it patching itself up in one scene, maybe where it taking some bites and some strikes or whatever. Patches itself up but I feel like maybe, you know, the other Predator movies we clearly see where they're getting beaten down and you start to think, you know, maybe this could happen. When I was watching this movie, it was like, boy, I don't know if they ever would be able to stop it. Like they can cut its head off and it's still going to be coming for them.
Right.
It's just a flesh wound, you know. So that part was a little bit overpowering. You never showed any weakness, and maybe that was intended. I don't know, but other than that, again, I enjoyed it. It was great.
I think it would have been awesome at the end if we saw her in a teepee with the equivalent of stone knives and such, trying to take apart his technology helmet to figure out how it worked.
I don't know. I don't know if you needed that. I mean,
it would have been if there was something to make reference to or to allude to.
And honestly, you don't know if maybe there'd be culturally bad. I know she's willing to accept the guns and stuff, but there's something to the level of, is it magic? Technology is not a concept, so to some degree, technology is like you can figure out a gun, but for all intents and purposes, spears that flow around following a light is magic.
Yeah, but she did figure out how to use his targeting helmet against him, right?
That's true.
So in a certain respect, she understood that this technology can help her to defeat her enemy. And so in my thought, I was thinking, it would be kind of nice because we see her being so good with formulating plans and figuring things out, and how she figured out that, I can actually use this helmet to help take this thing down. To see that at the end where she's, you know, maybe not taking the helmet apart, but has that helmet and is looking at it and thinking about it from a military perspective of how she might be able to use that, because we don't know that she couldn't retrieve those spears and maybe make use of them going forward.
But once he was dead, does his helmet still work?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, if I'm dead, my technology still works.
And the thing was attached to his wrist that controlled it. So I don't know. It was interesting because it definitely showed that if he saw a creature using brute force, like the European colonist,
right,
he really, like, you know, the challenge was in trying to fight the mass numbers of them.
Right.
And he was prepared for brute force. What he was not prepared for was cleverness.
Right. Right.
Sneaky.
And you saw the over reliance of the Europeans on technology. They tried to do some cleverness, baiting him, like hiding in the dirt. But then ultimately they were hoping brute force was going to save them.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the Predator more as like, what we see as a big game hunter today, where they're just out to collect trophies, right? But they're looking for the most powerful beast from a physical perspective, not from a mental perspective.
Maybe this guy was on vacation then.
Yeah.
Hey, drop me off on this planet, and do a little R&R for the weekend. And
that's exactly what that's the way I saw it, Chris.
I'll fight a couple bears. I'll eat some meat. It'll be a great weekend. Oh no, there's humans.
I think in the Predator, God, I want to call it folklore, but the Predator franchise, they get dropped off on these planets to prove themselves.
Right.
That's kind of their trials.
Right.
Well, and you learn more about that, I think, in Predator 2, which kind of Danny Glover, he ends up in like one of their spaceships, I think. But on that note, you also find that's also when they kind of point to that they've been to Earth before. I think you're right that there is kind of a almost a Klingon tradition to it, if you will, in terms of battle and in honor and things like that. Right. But there's a gun that he's given. It's actually the same gun in the film in Prey that Danny Glover gets in Predator 2 is the same gun. So when the aliens go to leave at the end of that, they toss him the gun and say, "Hey, keep it." That's that same gun. So I am curious to know if, in the end credit scenes they depict in the drawings at the end of Prey that those ships come back, the Predator ships come back, and presumably, hey, there's going to be another movie potentially. So I'm curious at what point are we going to get to see where that gun transitions hands into the Predator, and
which sucks.
Yeah, which sucks because we know what that kind of means.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, they could go if they did a sequel, they could go a couple different ways. I mean, just with the timing of the movie, we saw that the European colonizers were there, so an alternative, like a second movie, might be much more focused on colonizers getting murdered by a predator, and then them seeking out help from the natives who might know what's the hell's going on and killing people here, and they're like, oh, you're in trouble. you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And the one part of the movie for me that was kind of unexpected, the part where the Predator leaves behind that beeping technology, right? And the French guys are standing around it, looking at it like, what the heck's this? And and I was kind of wondering if it was similar to that, because the Predator had already taken some damage at that point. I was wondering if it was like that sort of nuclear thing that the one Predator had on his arm when he was dying.
Yeah,
that's what I was wondering too.
Yeah.
Really, really quick. I'm sorry, but that last picture made it look a lot like Prey was a 90s sitcom.
Bring that last picture back. I missed it.
It's the cast of Friends.
Yeah, it's like Prey as a 90s sitcom.
I just thought it was nice to see everybody.
I'll go hunt for you.
They're all living in a weirdly expensive apartment in New York, despite no one having a job that can pay for it. And then the Predator's just like the neighbor who keeps bothering them.
Right. It eats it every time they get a new animal, like pet. They find it skinned.
Yeah, I love the woman on the right's got the skull on her chest.
Well, I'm sure that's some Native American thing.
Yeah.
I think that might be the producer. I'm not sure.
Oh, gotcha.
But it was nice to see them in their
normal clothes.
Right.
Yeah.
You mean they're not really from the 1800s?
So yeah, it was definitely entertaining. And I would say, why not? Why not have a sci-fi movie in Native culture, or just like you might have a sci-fi movie in ancient Greece?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it was neat.
Well, I like the Aliens and Cowboys movie. Remember that one?
I remember it, but I never saw it. Like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was good. I thought they did that really well too.
Yeah, Aliens and Cowboys was actually pretty good.
Yeah, and I always think about, these aliens come down and they've got the advanced technology, like in Independence Day, for example, right? And we're battling them with the technology we have today, and how almost impossible it is to win a conflict like that with an advanced species. And then you think, like when Cowboys and Aliens first was coming out, and I'm thinking, oh, give me a break.
Right.
We, as modern as we are today, could barely defend ourselves against an alien onslaught. How in the hell would Cowboys and Indians be able to do such a thing?
Yeah.
But it was a very compelling, convincing show. And so was this Prey. And I think they managed to do it very well and show you, it is possible if you're smart enough and you've got, you get the right breaks and the right things happen.
And there's a cultural ideology with the alien species that if they win, they win. Because let's be honest, if their thing was, oh, they killed one of us, blow up the planet, there'd be nothing we could do.
Right.
So we lucked out.
Yeah.
Well, I think my Predator knowledge is not my primary of nerd knowledge, but I'm pretty sure that the Predators will only use the
nuclear option.
Well, he never had a chance to use the nuclear option, which was great. But I mean, he didn't have laser. He wasn't using lasers this time around. He used those tracking gears. So I think they kind of dial their technology level down to what they're going to be hunting, I believe.
Yeah, good point.
Like with aliens, they come. That's load for bear. You come with everything you've got.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, so what's your final verdict then? Final verdict, Jenna? Thumbs up? Thumbs down?
Go see it. It's fun. It's entertaining. Watch it with the Comanche dub. They did the dubbing well enough that it's not distracting.
Okay.
All right. Chris?
Oh, that's a good
note. I enjoyed it a lot. I'll actually be watching it again with the Comanche dub. So.
Oh, nice. All right. Charles?
Yeah, it was fun. It's a fun movie.
You going to watch it again with the Comanche dub?
I'm not going to watch it again with a matter of fact, I think I had the French dubbed in on what I was watching. So,
yeah.
The answer is no, not likely.
Okay. All right. Seth, how about you?
Oh, I loved it. That was a great movie.
Yeah, nice. All right. Linda?
I liked it. Much like I went in with different expectations, wasn't quite sure what it was going to be. And I think they did a fantastic job.
Nice. Okay. Same here. 2 thumbs up. So, yeah, definitely get out there and check it out if you haven't seen it. Hopefully, we haven't spoiled it for you if that's the case. Hopefully, if you're watching us, you've already seen it and you're just tuning in for the commentary because we hate to spoil things for you. So, anyway, thanks for tuning in, folks. Tune in next time. We'll undoubtedly have some more fun stuff to talk about. We'll be talking about Westworld for sure because that's season finale is coming out tonight, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be looking forward to that. So catch us next time. We'll be looking forward to seeing you then. Take care and have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood podcast. For more information and past episodes, please visit our website at galacticdriftwood.space or subscribe to us on YouTube. And now, please deactivate your cranial downlinks, collect your towels, and be sure to watch your step as you exit our gravity well.